Thank you. It's so wonderful to see everybody here. Let me acknowledge Mr. Jerry Shao, President of CCBA once again, Mr. Xu, President of Lingsing Association, Mr. Johnny Yi, President of the Hoi San Ming Yong Association, and we also have here the former CCBA presidents, Mr. George Hu, Mr. Eric Ning, Mr. Justin Yu, and Mr. Jack Yin. And we also have Mr. Ed Cox here, who's chairman of the Republican Party, so thank you. As you've heard, the last time I was in Chinatown in an official capacity was when I was Secretary of Labor. At that time, I was so pleased to be able to help Chinatown recover from the serious economic fallouts of the September 11th, 2001 terrorist attacks to this community. And today, I'm so glad to be back as Secretary of Transportation. I was here previous time, 30 years ago almost, as Deputy Secretary of Transportation. And throughout the years, the outpouring of support and encouragement and affection from this community, my community, has given me such encouragement and comfort. I'm really humbled by your trust and confidence in me. I'm so pleased that my father, Dr. James S.C. Chow, is able to be with me tonight. In the past, my mother, Ruth Mulan Chu Chow, Zhao Zhu Mulan, has always accompanied us. But as you know, my mother returned home to the Lord on August 2nd, 2007. But I know that she's with us here today in spirit. As you know, my father was one of the youngest sea captains of his time at the age of 29. He scored #1 in the national examinations and got the chance to study further in America. He left everything familiar behind in Asia to come to America to build a new country for all of us. He and my mother made tremendous sacrifices during those early years of separation and hardship. My father came first, and it was 3 long years before my mother, my 2 sisters, and I were able to come to America to join him. Our little family of 5 lived in a 1-bedroom apartment in Queens, New York, and my father held 3 jobs to make ends meet. Yet despite all these challenges, my father and my mother never lost their sense of optimism, their hope and belief in America, and their faith that in America our future would be bright. Our family's history will sound so familiar to so many of you in this audience who have similar stories. Today, my father and I visited the CCBA Community Center. We participated in a wonderful parade in Mott Street. And on this Memorial Day weekend, we honored Chinese American veterans by laying a wreath at the Kim Lau Arch, American Legion, Lieutenant B.R. Kim Lau Post 1291. And at Confucius Plaza, we opened the exhibit of historical photographs of Chinese immigrant railroad workers of more than a century ago. These immigrant Chinese railway workers helped to build the great infrastructure of America, the Transcontinental Railway, which contributed so much to America's prosperity. During my tenure, the Department of Labor started the first ever Bureau of Labor Statistics survey about monthly reports of employment data on Asians in America as a separate independent category. And that's how we know that unemployment rate for Asian Americans is the lowest of any ethnic group. Averaging about 3.5% in the first quarter of 2017. This reflects the fact that approximately 61% of all Asian Americans in the workforce have a bachelor's degree or higher. We're also the one ethnic group that has the highest number of recent immigrants, recent arrivals. Nearly 60% of all Asian Americans are immigrants, and 74% of all Asian American adults are immigrants. I know that there are so many immigrants who aspire to enter mainstream America and are experiencing difficulties and challenges. I know because my family and I did. And if I might, I'd like to offer some observations that will hopefully provide some insights and encouragements to those who are trying to advance in America. Number one, don't be afraid. America is increasingly a diverse nation of different ethnic and racial groups. As mentioned earlier, Asian Americans now comprise 6% of the national population in this country. African Americans comprise about 14%. Hispanic Americans comprise about 18%. The percentage of whites in the population has been decreasing. Today, the white population in America is about 62%. Over the next generation, America will be a country where no single ethnic group will be a majority. So there's no need to feel that we're somehow a minority. Indeed, in this age of globalization, we are part of a multicultural, multiracial world in which knowing more than one culture is an asset. And so that's an asset for all of us in this room. But number two, strong communication skills is still very important, both verbal and spoken. Because America is a country of immigrants with so many different groups of people, Americans have a tradition of being very direct and candid in their communications. Strong and clear communications skills are still very important. And the only way to improve is to practice. Number three, relatively speaking, America is not a hierarchical society. We pride ourselves as an egalitarian society. American culture celebrates and emphasizes individualism. And yet, as individualistic as Americans are, it's important to work together as a team. Teamwork is important because in an increasingly complex world, teams of experts are necessary to solve a problem. So learning to work effectively in a team is a very important skill. Number four, people succeed here not only because they work hard, but because they love what they're doing. And there's so many different ways to succeed in America. The Chinese culture emphasizes shoring up our weaknesses. If I'm not good in math, then I have to study extra hard in math. The American culture is very different. They don't pay very much attention to weaknesses. They emphasize developing a person's strength. So if a person is doing what they like, they will likely be willing to work hard at it. Number five, American culture is very affirming, very positive. They give a lot of positive reinforcements. They're always saying, thank you. You're doing great. Keep going. That was wonderful. They encourage by positive reinforcement. So, one small example, it's always polite to greet your office workers in the morning. Number six, America's a very forgiving country. If you make a mistake, don't worry about it. Very few mistakes are fatal. If you want to improve but don't know how, ask the right people, like a boss or a teacher. Or sometimes it's appropriate to just forget you made a mistake and move on because maybe a lot of other people didn't notice either. 7, America is a country that responds to energy. So whatever you do, don't give up. Keep on trying. And number 8, most of all, we should have confidence in ourselves. Have confidence in ourselves and in our culture and heritage. We have so much to offer to mainstream America. America is now increasingly part of an interconnected global environment. And America is strong because it has so many people from all over the world who live here who can help other Americans understand the rest of the world. We Chinese Americans can help mainstream America understand our history, our culture, our philosophy. And mainstream America will be richer and better for it as well. I really do feel that we Asian Americans have so much to be proud of and so much to offer to mainstream America. I hope these observations are interesting and helpful. I care deeply about our community. The future is bright, and I'm so hopeful and confident of our community's future role and continuing contributions in America. I am so grateful for my Chinese heritage and my early life experiences of adversity, which I believe make me a better leader today. I'm so grateful for my parents who have sacrificed so much for the family, like so many Asian American parents, like so many of you in this room. But most of all, I feel enormously blessed that my father, Dr. James S.C. Chow, is able to be here with me still to see what his daughter is striving and hoping to achieve even more in the future. I want to once again acknowledge my father, Dr. James S.C. Chow, and hope that you'll let me ask him to come up to the podium and say a few words as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Thanks to Mr. Xiu and all the leaders in this community. We have this kind of wonderful occasion. We thank you. You are leaders. We need a good leader. And we will follow you. And I wish CCDA will do the best and better work. Thank you again. 刚才我小姐她叫我讲几句中文。我希望我的上海国语大家能够听得懂。我相信我有许多上海的老乡在这里。谢谢大家有这个机会跟大家见面。谢谢你们对我小女小兰的鼓励。 小兰的支持，没有你们的支持，她不会有今天的。谢谢他们，谢谢。
谢谢大家。